What is going on? We are back again at another Monday, because you know Mondays are for motivation, baby. Originally, I wanted to make this video to kind of like gripe about 2024, but then I realized something. First of all, that's fucking pointless. And second of all, there's no point in reflecting on the past. To an extent, I believe you can learn from just about anything, but to an extent, there's no point in thinking about the past. So it dawned on me, dude, 2025 is like literally in like, I don't know, 2-3 days from now. And the ultimate question is this: what can we learn from 2024? And what can we apply to 2025? Because I gotta be honest, gentlemen, with the way things are going, life is not going to get easier. Unfortunately. I mean, this is also something we already know, right? Life is not going to get easier, especially if you're a man. Now, with that being said, I would also want to mention that as guys, we don't have a lot of options. And one might be thinking to themselves, well, what options do women have that men don't? Well, the simple fact that someone can sponsor their lifestyle, but they won't sponsor yours. Regardless of whatever government program, whatever social program, whatever, you know, whatever means other people or whatever means women find to make money to survive. And even though, of course, for the most part, some of them do these things on their own, of course, as a guy, you still have to figure out what the fuck you're gonna be doing with your own life. So one thing I would suggest to think about is primarily, what is the end game for you? Like, what is the ultimate goal for yourself? And when I think about that, I like to think, of course, 2024, there are some goals that I didn't make. You know, some missed the mark, unfortunately. It is what it is. But with all that said, there were some victories that I had in 2024 that I could easily apply those lessons that I got from those scenarios to 2025. And you got to think about it the same way, because you can't keep rolling into these years the same exact way, one after another after another. Like, yo, think about it. If in the last 4 years, the last presidential term, your life didn't change for the better by any measure, you failed, bro. You wasted 4 years of your life. We can make the argument that you want to maintain something. Yeah, sure, maintaining stuff is great. But we have to be in a constant state of conscious growth. What I mean is, hold on, something on my foot. Did I just step in shit? I think I just stepped in shit. Anyway, you gotta be in a state of constant growth. And constant growth, constant conscious growth, I should say, is understanding that you are willingly putting in the action to achieve said goal, right? Things don't grow by accident. You don't just, aha, you're a millionaire. Like, things just don't pop up out of nowhere. You have to put in the conscious effort in order to do so. So in other words, now I think is a great time to start analyzing the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to do, and focus on making the best of it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't put yourself in those scenarios, those high pressure scenarios to where you have to grow, you have to become more, you have to learn more, you're always going to be in a position where you're in a constant state of stagnation. And honestly, what good is that? Like, again, who wants to spend the next 4 years of a president's term not making any growth whatsoever? You owe it to yourself that much. And I think the most important thing whenever we think about goals or becoming the best version of ourselves, it's always good to have the idea in mind, the end game, the end goal. That's great. It's always a good thing to have. But you have to think about reverse engineering what you're trying to do. So in other words, you have this big goal that you have in mind. Well, let's reverse engineer it. What are some of the action steps you need to do in order to actually ascertain those goals little by little? One of my goals, me for example, is to grow this channel to 10K. And if you've been watching this video this long and you made it up to this part and you like the video, do yourself and me a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. Try and hit 10,000 subs. But going back to that example, if I want 10K subs, what do I have to do? Well, obviously I know I want 10K subs. I almost busted my ass just now. Oh shit. Obviously, I know I want 10K subs, right? So the goal is to make content that people find valuable, that people want to watch, and that makes them want to come back. That's my goal, right? So those are my small action steps that I have to put in day out. What are your action steps? What are your goals? Some of you might want to lose 10 pounds. Some of you might want to gain $10,000. Some of you might want, I don't know, might want a wife. I don't know why you'd want that, but no, I'm just kidding. Whatever your goals are your goals, right? But, you know, whatever the case may be, you have to figure out, all right, how do I get from point A to point B? Or better yet, I already know what I want at point Z. How do I turn this into actionable steps? Like, I was gonna do the alphabet in reverse, but my brain don't work like that. The next thing to consider going into 2025, I would say, is your support group. Now, us guys, we're not necessarily that lucky to have big support groups. If you do, you find one, you've got friends that are, you know, aren't toxic, which is I guess a side note. I think most of us are rolling into 2025 with no friends. And I am one of those people. Now, I'm not upset about that. You know, I've had some great friends, some great relationships with people. Unfortunately, those relationships, they end, you know? They don't always go the way you think they would go. You might know someone for 2 decades, but then, you know, people switch up on you. People switch up on you all the time. That is just life. But for most of us that are rolling into 2025 with no friends, no real support group, it's kind of just us and our resources, one of 2 things should happen. The first one, you stay not complacent, as in you're not willing to change, but if you're content with not having a large circle, then that's fine. Me personally, I'm okay with not having close friends. I consider a lot of people acquaintances, even though they might consider me a friend. I don't know. Personally speaking, I feel like I have to talk to you more than 10 times in passing and actually have an actual conversation with you and probably like break bread, literally break bread, both figuratively and literally, with you in order to consider you a friend, but that's for another conversation. But for the most of us, we're rolling into 2025 with no friends. So we need to either be content with our solitude and be okay with the fact that we're working on our goals and, you know, social life, we're just being out and chilling and, you know, doing whatever just isn't the vibe for you right now. You're focused. Or number 2, you find a support group that actually supports your dreams and your goals and is in line with your thinking, because here's the theory I have, and I'm convinced this is facts. You let me know in the comments if it's not though. But a lot of us, we have friends based off of 2 factors, convenience and trauma. One thing that I've learned, especially growing up in like the lower middle class, family didn't have a lot of money, you know, the people I was surrounded by at that time, we weren't necessarily friends because we had shit in common. We were friends because we were bonding over trauma. That was one of the main reasons as to why I had friends, and another reason as to why, as time went on, I outgrew those people. And you know, some people outgrew me. It is what it is. That's life, right? Like, we all move at different paces. But with all that being said, I think I've learned a valuable lesson in spending a lot of time alone, which is that at the end of the day, even if you are surrounded by people who have your best interest in mind, even if you're surrounded by people who want to see you win, and you got to be thankful for those people, because let's be real, not everybody wants to see you win. If you have those people in your life, cherish them. Do yourself a favor, cherish them. Honor them in a way that you can express your gratitude. I mean, I'm not saying kiss feet, right? But you should try to honor them in a way that you express gratitude and you keep that reciprocating, because oftentimes those might be the very people who end up getting you out of a jam. Not saying that that's bound to happen or those people will be there to do that, but more times than not, those are the people to help you out. So you gotta cherish those things. For those of you who are like me and essentially don't really have people in their corner, then understand at the end of the day, you have to be able to not only be in your own corner, but also create a system as to where you can now be dependent on resources that do not include other human beings, right? So for example, let's say you do content creation. Maybe instead of having an editor or someone, maybe you could just have AI do it. You know, I mean, these are small, moot examples, but for the most part, one has to be able to be self-sufficient. And that is the last thing I'm gonna leave you with. Consider being self-sufficient. Because again, at the end of the day, there might be people in your corner who do have your best interest. What the fuck is good with this road? There might be some people with your best interest in mind, but no one else is gonna wanna see you win more than yourself. So believe in yourself. Again, at the end of the day, all you got is you, right? So those are just some things I would suggest you take in mind for 2025. Another thing to remember is that, listen, we've got like what, 48 hours to go, 78 hours to go before New Year's. I got my hours mixed up. I said 78. I meant, but yeah, no. Whatever, man, you know what the fuck I mean. 2025 is gonna be here whether you're ready or not. And at the end of the day, you have to stay focused, you have to be driven, and you have to be willing to put in the work. Whether that's with people that support you and appreciate who you are and what you bring to the table as an individual, or by yourself. Fuck it. Make the world realize your greatness one way or another. Just don't do anything stupid and crash out. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. Do me a favor, make sure you subscribe. I think I'm gonna start like a 10 or 12 pound weight loss challenge in the beginning of January. I'm like, listen, the holiday season, I know I'd be modeling and shit, but the holiday season really caught up to me, man. I've been eating some crap. Willingly, like I've wanted to eat somewhat shit food. Listen, you eat healthy for like 6-7 years and you're super strict. It's great, but listen when I tell you, at some point you're gonna want to break. You're gonna want to do something a little different. So I indulge, whatever, it is what it is, but it's time to get rid of the weight, it's time to get back in action. So I'm gonna start a 10-12 pound weight loss challenge. I'll be posting some videos of it on this page. I also have a fitness page as well. Maybe I'll post it on there. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all are trying to achieve next year. What are some of your victories that you had this year? And what are some things that kind of like slightly slipped out of your grasp, but you know if you try harder, you can make it happen? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Share this video if you liked it. Hit a subscribe if you did, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you next year. Peace.